Hello my darlings and welcome. In this video I design and create a greeting card for Mabon or the Autumnal Equinox using watercolor and glitter watercolor paint and featuring a harvest theme of apples and grapes. Let's do some magical crafting. Thanks for joining me as I create a Mabon greeting card. If you enjoy my watercolor and art witch content, kindly leave a like on this video. I'll leave links to all of the materials I used in this project in the description below. My process to create this card is to trace out a 4x6 inch rectangle onto a piece of watercolor paper and draw out my scene in pencil. I'm drawing all of the elements as a border and leaving the center blank for adding a sentiment as text at the end. I trace over my pencil sketches with a waterproof micron pen. Mabon is a modern term for an older harvest festival celebrated on and around the autumnal equinox. I like to celebrate in the week leading up to the equinox and the week after it, to get as many days of fall magic in as I can. This lets me stress less about having a ritual or a special meal on a specific day and just enjoy the season. One of the ways I like to celebrate the season is to decorate my home and my sacred spaces with fall leaves, a corn dolly, acorns, pumpkins, and the like. I love to have a special meal featuring harvest vegetables and other seasonal food. It's a time of Thanksgiving and sharing with others. Once the design is inked, it's time to go in with watercolor paint. I'm using a pale tan in the background. Mabon is the second of 3 harvest festivals. The other 2 are Lammas or Lanasa and Samhain. And during this time we begin to see the rewards and the results of our hard work from earlier in the year. This is the time of the year to turn inward, reread old journal entries or books, spend some time in reflection and review the year that has passed. Figure out what worked and what didn't, and begin to make plans for next year. Once the background was completely dry, in fact a few days had passed, I returned to the project with a base of bright red paint for 2 of the 4 apples, and also painted the large grape cluster in shades of burgundy and purple. And after that, I go in with various shades of green paint for the green apples and grape and apple leaves. When Mabon arrives, it signals to me that we're moving into a period of much-needed rest on the wheel of the year. We're not in high summer anymore, but not quite settled into fall yet. Things are being harvested and stores are being laid up for winter. The light is noticeably turning towards darkness. Seeds are falling to the earth to go dormant, and everything is preparing to rest and going inward to build up energy to begin the cycle again next year. You can look at this literally and consider the crops, begin harvesting food and start canning or cutting wood. Or you can look at this metaphorically and apply the lessons nature teaches to our modern lives. Look at what you're harvesting from the seeds you planted and tended earlier in the year, and think about what new seeds you may want to plant in the spring. The next step is to add a layer of shimmer watercolor paint. I have a witchy friend who makes handcrafted shimmer, metallic, iridescent, and glitter watercolors. She created a Mabon-inspired palette for me for the holiday. It includes glitter and mica pigments. Her Etsy shop is called Scarlet Nymph, And while this is not a sponsored video, I do have a coupon code for 25% off in the description if you'd like to purchase this or any other watercolors from her Etsy shop. We're working together to create a paint palette for every holiday on the Wheel of the Year. The first step to using these handcrafted paints is to spray them with water and let them soften for a few minutes. Then dip a damp but not soaking wet paintbrush in so that the paint is quite thick on the brush. This way the maximum amount of pigment and shimmer is transferred to the paper. Several paints in this Mabon set are created with mica, and so the paint can be used quite thin, and they can be diluted and used sheer. The ones I'm going to use, the green and red glitter paints, are created with larger pieces of glitter in them. Those should be used at the consistency of maple syrup for best results. The paint needs to be thick because the glitter particles are so large. Once I was happy with the artwork, the next step was to scan the artwork and clean it up and color correct it in Photoshop. I set the card up to be printed out in the center of a letter-sized piece of cardstock. I've decided to provide my patrons with 3 versions of this card. One says, Happy Mabon, another, Happy Fall, and the third one says, Happy Autumn. I'll be making these cards available on Patreon. If you'd like to download a PDF of this printable card, please visit Magical Crafting on Patreon at the link below the video. My patrons can download recipes, Book of Shadows pages, artwork, and more, all provided as PDFs, and I continue to add new downloadable content as I do more projects on the channel. The next step was to trim out my cards and fold them. I carefully lined up the corners and edges and made sure the card had a very sharp fold. I hope this video inspires you to create your own Mabon greeting card. I would love to become pen pals with my witchy viewers, and if you'd like to share holiday cards, I'll leave my address below. If you enjoy my watercolor and art witch content, don't forget to kindly leave me a like on this video. And may all of the blessings of the second harvest and autumnal equinox be abundantly yours.